Okay, day 3. So let's recap what you guys should have finished so far. And once again, if you're not this far, it's not a big deal. You can just catch up. And then tomorrow will also be a catch-up day for you so that you'll have time to finish both digital remote projects and get them turned in by the end of the week. Okay, so you should have a background. You should have placed at least 4 images in your background of things about your country. You should have played with overlapping. You should have used transparency on at least one of those things. And then your next step was to include your country's leader, at least 1 image. I included 2. And then yesterday we also added your country's motto and your country's name. All right, so we have a lot of things going on. We have a lot of overlapping, playing with some transparency. And now we're ready to add the final details and finish our currency today. All right, so let's move to step 5. Okay, step 5 says your currency amount. So you're going to include your currency amount in 2 ways. You're going to include it in the number form and the written form. Pay attention. If your country is India, they do not use the dollar. So you're not going to have a dollar sign on there, right? Research and find out what your currency amount would look like. Here's what I mean by that, okay? So you could, if you don't know what France uses, you could type in French currency, okay? And then you would find image, and then here's what you would see, okay? They use the euro, so you could also type in euro if you wanted, and then you would see different types of euros on there, all right? So that's one way you can do it. If you look at the euro, you'll see how it has the number and then the word euro written out, okay? So, for example, I said France uses the euro, India uses the rupee, China uses the yuan, etc. So, when you are adding it, you're going to add the written and the number form. And here's mine. Okay, I put the currency amount twice. If you'll notice on currency, so let's go back to here. The number's usually on there several times. So here's some euros. Okay, you can see the number down in the corner. You can see it at the top. And then let's type in $100 bill, and let's look at the $100 bill, okay? So if we look at the $100 bill, I mean, look how many times 100 is on there. It's in every corner, and it's right here in the middle. So don't be afraid to have it several places, okay? Because that's typical of what it would look like. So what I did to insert my first one is I wanted my first one to be really big and stand out, all right? So I went up to insert, and I inserted a word art, and here's why. Because it makes the letters 3-dimensional, and it also gave me the ability to add this cool shadow effect. So if I click on this and I go to format options, you'll see that I selected to have a drop shadow, okay? And that's why that has that shadow there. Then you can also play with the colors that your number is by going up to the paint bucket, which would be the inside color, and the pencil tool, which is the border color. Okay, so you can play around with that. Then I just put the same thing down here, but this time I selected to not have a drop shadow down here, no drop shadow. And then I also did the same thing and wrote the word euro. So you have to have your number at least once. I would have it more than once just because, like I showed you, that's very typical of currency to have the number on there several times. Let's look at the back. I mean, look how many times it's on there, all right? Now, twice is fine. I like having it different sizes as well because that's also typical of currency. And then you also need to have the name, okay? When you are done with that, your currency is completed. That's it, all right? So your currency, once again, should be up on that second slide where it says use this slide to build your project. All right, so that's your finished currency. Okay, we do have a couple more steps we need to finish today. Once again, if you don't get it all done today, it's okay. You can finish it tomorrow. But step 6 says the real currency. Insert an image of a real piece of currency from your country in the box below. So what I did is I went to Google and I searched for euros, and I just copy and pasted a picture of the euro here. All right. Now, some of you might be wondering, why does the euro have so many colors on it? Well, if you think about it, this with all of these details and all of these colorings and the foil makes it much harder to counterfeit, which is one of the reasons why the United States kind of went from this layout to what our bills kind of look like now, right? Okay, so that's step 6, is you're gonna find a picture of the currency from your country and insert a real one there. Step 7, which is the very last step of our project, is you are going to describe your currency. So it says, tell me what 4 images you chose for your background, what they are, and why they are important to the country you chose. I said the first image I selected was of a French town. I think the architecture is something that is very recognizable and distinct to France. The second image I chose was a map of France that also has the French flag inside. The third image I chose was the Eiffel Tower because it is the most recognizable landmark in France. Lastly, I chose 2 French breads because France is known for their baked goods and desserts. And then at the bottom, it kind of just shows you an example on a US bill of one of those things in the background. So that's what you need to get done today. Step 5, which is to insert your currency amount in the number and written form. Finish up your currency. Add in an image of the real currency from your country, and then describe to me the images that you chose in your currency. And that's it. Then you're all done with your project. Like I said, you'll have today to work, and then tomorrow will be a catch-up day. So if you're behind on either of these projects, the Zoom meeting or your currency project, you will have today to finish, get everything done, get it turned in before I grade it next weekend. All right, so let me know if you have any questions again in the Google Classroom, and submit it when you are done.